Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm Justin with Florida Homestead and we're out here on the farm. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about our beef cattle, well our cattle in general. Some of them are meant for meat, some of them are meant for milk, that we've been raising out here on the homestead for the past 6 months. So there's a lot to go over. Let's dive right into it, guys. So as you can see right behind me, we have our 5 beef cattle, or 5 cattle in general. This one right here, her name is Elsie. She is an Angus cow, and 4 of our cows are basically like juveniles, and then we have one that I would consider a young adult. So this is Sarah. Sarah's a black Angus, and I can kind of pet them a little bit. Sarah's not too fond of being touched or petted, but you can from time to time. Elsie here is another one of our Angus cows. She lets me pet her almost as much as Scarlet, but not quite as much. She'll let me do it now because she's distracted with eating. So we have Sarah here. We have Elsie. And then this one here is our Brahmin named Pickles. And she is the runt of the litter, if you will. In our herd of cattle, she is the lowest on the totem pole, her social standing, if you will. So sometimes she has a hard time getting in to get something to eat. The others kind of do like to push her around sometimes, which is kind of sad to watch, but it's just nature, I guess. She does get a little bit bullied by the others, but she's a sweet girl. She, you're not really going to be able to pet her. I can try, but she'll just scurry away, because like I said, she's very timid. So we have Pickles, our Brahmin. We have Elsie, our Angus. Sarah, our Angus. And then over here at our other trough, sometimes I split their feed between the 2 troughs. I don't always do that, but it kind of prevents them from knocking into one another and trying to alpha, you know, push people out of the way and alpha to get all the food. So, they're spoiled out here on the homestead more than they should be probably. But sometimes we just split up the hay between the 2 troughs so, you know, so Pickles can get some to eat and she's not getting knocked out of the way. So here we have Scarlet. And Scarlet is our oldest. So the other 4 cows that we have, they're probably about, I want to say like maybe 11 months old. They're just hitting that point where they're going to start being ready to breed. But Scarlet's a few months older. She's probably, I'd say maybe 15 months old. And that's, believe it or not, that's why she's the largest. So Scarlet, oh, of course I'm getting a phone call while recording. I'm so sorry, guys. So Scarlet is in charge of this herd here. She is the alpha. She's the dominant one of the herd. She always gets to eat first. If she's not satisfied with the amount that she's gotten to eat, she'll knock the others out of the way. But it's a really interesting dynamic that we have out here, because I think naturally Cookies, our spotted longhorn here, wants to be in charge of this herd. But like I said, Cookies is only 11 months old and Scarlet is 15 months old. And I'll show you, I'll try to pet Cookies here. She's quite temperamental. Of all the ones that we have, hi Cookies. Yeah, see that? She's not really fond of being touched, and for that reason, she does get, come here girl, she does get, I don't want to necessarily say aggressive, but she displays aggressive behavior from time to time, and it makes me a little nervous about, you know, maybe a couple years from now when the children are a little bit bigger, we might want to bring the kids into the pasture to, you know, do some work with me and get used to the animals. I don't know if we can have an animal like this. Yeah, see? She's just not very friendly. She's a sweet animal, but we're thinking that she may end up being processed for meat, maybe this coming May. Not 100% sure on that. But just because of her temperament, you know, I eventually do want to have the kids in here with me, learning and teaching them about animals and teaching them about life on the farm. And I can't risk them getting hurt by Cookies there. So Scarlet's my favorite. So Scarlet is a Jersey cow, and she's going to produce milk for us. So what I'm gonna do now, you guys, is you see this hay out in the distance? This is Bahia grass, and my spoiled cows don't want to eat any more of it because it's all dried out and it's no longer the best quality. So I'm gonna head up to the feed store. I'm gonna get some new hay for my animals here. And then when I come back, I wanna talk to you guys about, okay, you know, why do we have these animals? What's our plan with each animal? What are we doing out here on the homestead with these 5 cows? So I'll be right back. We're gonna jump forward in time a little bit. Let me go get that hay and we'll go over it together, all right? So here we are, fast forward in time a little bit. I just got back from the feed store and we got a fresh bale. This is a round bale of coastal hay that I just picked up for the animals. So these bales, we don't have a tractor yet, and we're hoping to get one by about January. We've been, my father and I, looking into getting a tractor that'll help us with some unloading and various different things around the farm. But these bales cost about, I want to say like $100, and right now the only way that I can truly unload them is to push them with my feet out of the truck. They weigh about 1,000 pounds, so I can't really lift them or manipulate them other than if I get some leverage behind my back and I just push as hard as I can usually get them to roll out the back of my tailgate and into the little feeding ring here. So this is where we feed the cows. We have 2 of these feed rings. We have one in the front pasture and one in the back pasture. And they're pretty cool. This may be old hat to a lot of you guys, but for someone like me, you know, this is our first go at something like farming or homesteading, and I didn't really know the purpose of these things. So the purpose of these rings is to prevent waste, because the cows are messy eaters. They'll stick their heads in here, they'll grab this hay, and they'll spread it all throughout the pasture and really like poop and pee on it and soil it, and you'll waste a lot of your hay. So what these rings do is they allow them to stick their head in here in this upper area, but they can't really stick their head through this lower area. And so it's kind of like a controlled flow of the hay, and it's specifically designed to waste less food. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's I mean, I don't really know how you'd waste easily half these bales without something like this. They make them in different styles, but this ring feeder works really well for us. And now that we've got our fresh new hay in place, let's go ahead and walk over to the back pasture. I had to lock them up back there, of course, so I could do that work of unloading the hay. But now that it's all set up for them, we can go let them out. As you can see, they are all eagerly awaiting for me to come let them over. They're excited. They know that something's going on here, and they rightfully so think that it's time to eat. So we can go ahead and hopefully not get stampeded here. Let them through the gate. So guys, the cows right now are pretty much the main fixture of the homestead, if we're gonna be honest for a second. We've got a rooster and 7 hens who are about to start laying eggs again pretty soon. But realistically, until we get goats on the property, which we're planning on doing, I mean, as early as a month from now, we may have goats on the property. But until we get goats on the property, these cows are, you know, the heartbeat of our homestead, so to speak. Let me go ahead and, how can I set this camera down so I can get these guys out of here? Hope that's not a terrible shot. It probably is. Shot at my ankles there. But until we get the goats on the property, these cows are basically the heartbeat of our homestead. And the question is, you know, what are we really planning on doing with these animals? What is their purpose here? Come on, y'all. Come on. I bought you some food. Let's go. Come on now. Come on now, let's go. Let's go. Well, you haven't seen it yet. They may have not seen it yet. If they saw it, they'd be rushing past me to get it. Come on now. Let's go, girls. So anyways, they'll follow me, I'm sure. The whole purpose of the homestead is for, realistically, it's for sustainable living. And without going on too much of a little tangent or an aside here, a lot of people will follow you to a certain point they'll say certain things like, you know, the politicians don't care about us, we all know that. But as time goes on, and, you know, some weird stuff has happened lately in the past couple years. And a lot of people, for whatever reason, they think that the politicians don't care about them, but somehow there'll always be enough food to eat. And I pray that I'm wrong, but you know, it's not hard to get a suspicion that that might be the case. So the purpose of living out here with these animals is for sustainability, kind of going back to a simpler way of living. But being able to be secure and know that there's always going to be food, for healthy, good food too, for my family and I to eat. So the purpose at the end of the day of these animals is to provide us with meat and milk. Now, Scarlet here is a Jersey cow. So she's not going to be going to the butcher at all. Maybe when she's quite older. The fresh stuff is in the ring. The fresh stuff is in the ring. Maybe not until she's much older. But her purpose is to provide us with milk. So the idea is that these girls are just about reaching breeding age. And we haven't decided whether we're going to get them artificially inseminated or if we're going to bring a bull onto the property. But they're going to get pregnant and they're going to give birth to calves. Now, if we sell these calves, we can recoup a lion's share of the money that we use in feeding these animals and perhaps even come close-ish to breaking even. I don't think we will, but we can definitely recoup a lot of the money that we spend on taking care of these animals when we sell their calves each year. And Scarlet will go into milk. And as a Jersey cow, she's going to provide us with, I see numbers ranging from 2 to 5 gallons a day. It's a lot of milk that she's going to provide. What are you doing, girl? You're not in heat, are you? Go eat. Go eat. Go eat. I bought you food. You got to watch out for them when they're in heat. They get a little excitable, to put it mildly. So these girls here, like I said, Cookies right here, our spotted longhorn, we're not really sure what her destiny is going to be based on her temperament and her behavior out here on the farm. If I can't trust her around the kids when they get a little bit bigger, then I'm going to have to bite the bullet and have her processed, to put it kind of cut and dry. Because, you know, if she's going to be a concern that I can't come out here with my children when they get a little bit bigger, of course, then there's no point in keeping her around. But the idea that we have for these animals is we have 5 cows. Every year we get 5 calves. We will probably keep 1 calf and go ahead and raise it for 14, 18 months. And that's going to be our meat for our freezer. So we'll continuously have 1 calf that we're holding on to, preferably one of the Angus. We have Elsie and Sarah are Angus. But it could be from any of these 4 cows, just not Scarlet, because Scarlet is a Jersey, and Jerseys are more for milk than they are for meat. But the idea is that we could have 1 calf on rotation so that we constantly have that beef in our freezer. Fresh beef, good beef, food that's healthy that you can feel good about feeding to your kids. Not that you know, corn-fed junk that you get at the grocery store. But every year, in addition to us having that rotating calf, keeping our freezer stocked with meat, Scarlet will be in her milk. And we will have to set up an area, and this is one of the projects we're going to be working on very soon. We're going to have to set up an area where I can milk Scarlet, because I'll have to actually put a harness on her, almost like a dog, and walk her with a leash. Whoa! Somebody's in heat. All right, I should probably step back. I don't know if I caught that on camera, but they're trying to mount each other. It won't do much because they're all females, but yeah, they were seeming a little frisky today. Let me take a few steps back here. They're getting a bit frisky with one another. But the idea is that these 5 animals will continuously keep us provided with meat and milk. You know, once we get into the swing of things with breeding, I'm trying not to be long-winded for the sake of the video, but I've only been taking care of these animals for 6 months. And I feel like I've learned so much in the past 6 months, but when it comes to breeding, the birth, you know, raising calves, that's all unfamiliar territory to us. So there's going to be a lot more learning to go, and of course I'm going to take you guys along for the ride with that. Oh yeah, see, like I said, these girls, they're just in that stage, that like juvenile stage where they're starting to be a little bit more adults than juveniles, and as you can see based on their behavior, they're going into heat and they're getting a bit frisky with each other. So projects that we'll have to do with these cows soon, we're gonna need to build some kind of like a stall. I think they sell things that are called cattle panels. But right now we don't have a spot where we can bring the cow in to inspect it if it has a wound, inspect it if it looks like it may have some kind of a disease or something of that nature, to get it out of here if we're gonna call somebody in and have them take the animal off site. You need and to milk Scarlet as well, right? When I go to milk her every day, we're going to need a spot to do that. So like all of these things require basically like a holding pen or a holding stall. And to get their yearly vaccinations. They do need yearly vaccinations that helps keep them protected from worms. All of these, maybe I shouldn't get too close to you today, Pickles. I don't feel so good, Pickles. So that's one of our big projects that we have to do not too long from now, is get that holding pen, that stall put together. Guys, there's so much more that I can talk to you about these animals, but I hope this video gives you an understanding of like where we're at with them and why we have them. The cattle, like even when we add to our chicken flock, because we have 8 chickens right now and we plan on going up to maybe even 20 in the future. When we bring goats onto this farm, we're planning on bringing 2 to 3 goats onto this farm soon. But we could go up to as many as 6, 8 in the future. We don't know what the future holds. But the cows are always really gonna be kind of like the lifeblood of the homestead. Just in the amount, like the sheer quantity of milk and meat that they're gonna provide for us. And in the amount of fertilizer that they provide for us too. So, a lot more to talk about when it comes to the cows in the future. But I hope that gives you guys a good general understanding of where we're going with them. And before we sign off here, I'll take you down to the chicken cove. I'm hoping they're here right now, otherwise I'm gonna look like a fool. But my chickens like to hang out in this spot. Oh, there they are. There they are. My chickens are semi-free range, mostly free range these days. And they like to hang out in this little cove during the day. It's kind of like the coolest thing. There's a few of my hens there. Folks, I thank you guys for watching the video so much. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a like. I'd love to hear your genuine thoughts about the farm and where we're going and our plans. So you can go ahead and leave those in the comments. And I am trying to push a little bit to make the Florida Homestead channel a little bit more of like a serious thing, an actual channel. So your engagement, really, I've been making some YouTube shorts. Your engagement with the videos and with the shorts, like, it's a huge blessing. It means a lot to me. I can't really get this off the ground without your help. So if you watch the videos, if you watch the shorts, if you leave a comment, if you leave a like, it means the absolute world to me. Folks, wherever you are in the world, God bless you. And I hope to share more of this homestead journey with you. Give me a little bit to shake off the rust. It's been a while since I've made content for YouTube. But God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Until next time, take care.